Civil Service, second mock, paper 2. We're going to discuss the English and verbal logic section. So let's start with question number 1 and 2. They belong to the first passage. This passage basically talks about the reasons why India needs to prepare better energy policies and how we can save energy by managing different things. The author gives us some suggestions, and it also talks about the importance of technology in the second paragraph. Let's look at the first question. Technologically efficient practices are required in India for, and then 4 reasons are given: improving demand management, mitigating carbon emissions, improving manpower abilities, affecting major savings. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Now let's look at the first paragraph. Here we get option 2, mitigating carbon emissions, and option 4, affecting major savings. So you see, mitigating carbon emission is mentioned here, and by better demand management, India can save up to 15% of its energy consumption. So major savings is also mentioned here. So option 2 and 4 are mentioned. Option 3 is not directly mentioned with relation to technologically efficient practices, and option 1 is a way of developing these practices and it's not a reason for it. So the answer to this question is D, 2 and 4. Let's look at the second question. According to the passage, why is it important to promote new technologies? Now, the answer to this is mentioned in the very first line of the passage itself. Let's look at that. In many spheres, technologies that can affect major savings are already at hand. Okay, so the first line makes it very clear that the answer to this question has to be C. A talks about a peripheral issue like India has to become like Japan and all. Japan, MITI is mentioned in some other context altogether. So A is not the answer. To increase profits of Indian technology companies is not mentioned anywhere in the passage. D says to compensate for carbon emissions and reduce them, but the last part, according to international obligations, is not mentioned anywhere in the passage. But C is directly mentioned, so to affect major savings and increase efficiency of energy generation in India, that's the right answer.